Weak website? It could be a superstar. We do A/B testing, personalisation, social proof, product recommendations, baseline analysis to bring your bottom line over the line. Visit webtrends-optimize.com or call 0333 444 5502 today.
Well, a very good afternoon to you wherever you're watching on the Sussex stream for this Vitality Blast match between Sussex Sharks and Kent. And as you can see, Kent won the toss and have elected to bat, so we'll be seeing Sussex's players take the field in just a moment's time. The youngsters with their flags lined up, ready to greet the players when they emerge under what is fairly now grey skies at Hove. Hopefully we're not going to get any rain. Certainly looking at the forecast, I don't think it's due, but at the same time, when you look at the skies, you couldn't guarantee it, I have to say, but well, at least it looks like you couldn't guarantee it, but fingers crossed that the next few hours stays dry. My name's Andrew Rayburn, and joining me in the commentary box for this one, Oliver Shooksmith. Oliver, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, it's good to be here.
And yes, Sussex, of course, a big rivalry with Kent, and they'll be keen to try and get one over on them in this format, as they did in the 50 over game earlier in the season.
I will just find my notes.
Yes, no.
But Sussex scored 300 for 8 and won by 42 runs in the end there. So a big score for Sussex. I think they struggled really in the 50 over competition in a couple of times to score runs, and so 300 against Kent. They'll be looking to, obviously they're bowling first, but we'll be looking to carry on that batting form later on against the same opposition.
Give you the two lineups in just a moment. The umpires for this one, Julia Jarvis and Hemel Widjarasia, coming to the wicket at the moment just to take their place. They're being tracked by a seagull at the moment who's following them around, who's expected probably to be fed. I don't think that's going to happen somehow, unless they've got some seed in their pocket. But yes, so just to give you the Sussex lineup, and I'll leave Oliver with the Kent side. Two changes for Sussex. Rachel King coming in back into the team with Abby Norgrove, the Hampshire loanee, made 42 last time out, dropping out, and Callie Doherty back in the side as well. Lottie Curling making way from the previous lineup. So the team then for Sussex, as the players emerge onto the field: Rachel King, Izzy Collis, Nancy Harmon, the captain Kiara Green, Molly Adams the wicketkeeper, Jazz Wesley, Indigo Gentry, Talitha Stanley, Eve O'Neill, Anna Buckle and Callie Ann Doherty.
And the team for Kent: Grace Poole, Amy Gordon, Tilly Callaghan, Elsa Barnfather, Coco Streets, Genevieve Gier, Emily Thompson the wicketkeeper, Zena Bilal, Megan Belt the captain, Izzy James and Alice Grant. Just looking to catch some numbers to see who has come out to open. Looks like number 21, Elsa Barnfather.
Okay, so that would be...
Which I don't think she's opened
No,
before,
that would be her moving up the order. I do know that from previous matches, yeah.
And... well, I've got the numbers written down wrong, because number 21 is Amy Gordon.
So it is going to be Gordon and Paul. What we'll do is I'll take the first over and all the odd number ones. Oliver will take the other end. So we've got Captain Kiara Green opening up with her spin from the Cromwell Road end.
I think she opened the bowling last T20
yes.
Sussex played. It's become a trend in recent years for an off spinner to bowl the first over of a T20, it seems.
So we're going to see Green come in. Oh no, we're not, because the batter at the other end is not ready, Gordon. Just as Green was about to pull the trigger. Now we're settled. She's going to be bowling around the wicket to the right hander. Green comes in and bowls now, and there's a played out into the leg side for no run. Now we're only on the YouTube stream for Sussex, not on the BBC today, so we don't actually need to do sort of full in detail ball by ball. You can see it on your screen as that one is fielded off her own bowling. But you may, of course, be having the audio up and doing something else instead of fixed to the screen, so we might try and video on everything that happens. And this will be the first run, flicked away. Just a single. So she's off the mark. Gordon with her third delivery. Kent one without loss. Kiara Green, very much a local, born in Brighton, and took a couple of wickets against Gloucester, but didn't take any against Middlesex or Glamorgan. She's just waiting for Paul to finish taking her guard. Oh, that's good line, and not allowing Paul to find anything through the leg side. Giving herself a bit of room on that one. That's a glorious shot. That'll be the first boundary of the afternoon, even up the hill. Gordon timing that one, finding the gap. Kiara Green perhaps just a little bit too wide on that one, a little bit too full possibly. Yeah, wide and full, and dispatched through the gap for 4.
Well, she played the first game of this competition at number 6, but has opened the innings since, and she'll face the final delivery. She goes up in the air, it's going to be caught, and it is. She's gone for 4 runs. The first wicket falls off the final ball of the first over, caught at cover. The fielder came around, she didn't quite time the attempt at a lofted drive, and Kiara Green strikes.
Well, Sussex owe me that one really, because I went and had to remember I hadn't closed the door on the commentary booth. So yeah, that was a good early wicket that for Sussex, and one for Kiara Green.
I think it was Izzy Collis who took the catch.
Izzy Collis claiming that one, and Kiara Green back in the One Day Cup in 2019 took 2 for 6 against Kent. So she. I mean, that is 6 years ago, but she has their number, put it that way. 6 years ago, different opposition, different players, but still. She just likes the looks of the shirts, I think. But,
well, the new batter for Kent is Tilly Callaghan in at number 3. She actually has some close connections to Sussex, as she is Director of Cricket at Eastbourne College, which was in fact my previous school, so I've been coached a few times.
Oh, it's not what you know, it's who you know, eh? You know all the people in all the right places.
Well, now I've got the advantage of, you know, I can see if what she's told me to do as a coach, if she actually does it herself.
Exactly. Well, Callie-Anne Doherty is going to test her from the C end. Actually, it'll be Gordon facing up first, of course, because that wicket coming off the last ball.
Well, Doherty is in. Molly Adams standing up to the stumps, takes that well. Perhaps kept a bit low outside the off stump.
Yeah, she wanted to try and cut it away, didn't she? But there just wasn't. Sometimes it's either too close to you or it's keeps too low. And on that occasion, I think it's the latter.
The pitch is looking very green, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays. As Doherty is in once more. This one is going down leg side, and it's given a wide. Bounces off Adams's pads, and they will come through for a single as well.
Yeah, there was quite a few wides bowled in the first match at Lord's, possibly to do with the slope and adjusting also to the occasion of that one. Of course, Middlesex have played the rest of their games at Merchant Taylor's in Northwood, but Sussex fortunate on that occasion to be getting the double header at Lord's and enjoyed everything apart from the result.
Well, Callaghan will not face her first ball yet, as the bowler pulls out her run-up, but now comes through with it and just defends into the offside, where that seagull is still lurking. Yeah,
there's often, obviously, when you get you get an evening game maybe in the men's T20 with a large crowd, and people who are saying evening game specifically because obviously people have gone to get food and what have you, and then you get the seagulls circling for the leftovers.
As this one's cut by Callaghan, beats the fielder in the ring. It won't go to the boundary, but they'll come back for 2. Fielded out there by Jazz Wesley.
Yeah, they've got, just to fill you in, they've got the boundary riders really straight both sides of the wicket, and everybody else, of course, up inside the circle as they are during the power play in the T20 game.
As she pulls out her run-up once more. Just think, is this the first game she's played? It's the first T20.
No,
she's
Callie-Anne
played,
Doherty played in the first
No.
couple of T20s against Middlesex and Gloucester. She took, she only bowled 3 overs in total.
Well, she's just struggling to find her run-up at this early stages, but hasn't overstepped yet, which is the important thing, as that's another dot ball into the leg side. Because a no ball can prove very costly with the free hit coming afterwards, so no problem with pulling out of her run-up. She comes in again, and this one's cut again by Callahan. She's got a bit more on this. This may go to the boundary, and it does, beating the fielder out there. Just a bit short and too wide once again from Doherty, and Callahan was on this one quickly, and I think it's going to prompt a field change.
Yeah, it was really well timed, that, and that meant it kind of raced away. The outfield looks pretty in pretty good nick. Of course, you got some of the practice wickets out on that side as well. You got a couple of used pitches on the leg side as we look at the moment, but really, once you hit the ball well on square on the offside at the moment, that will fly.
Doherty will finish her over. This one just straying onto the leg stump and turned for a single as the leg side sweeper comes in, and that's the end of the over. 9 runs coming off it. It's 14 for 1.
Yeah, Kent just looking to steady the ship after the loss of that early wicket. Just to tell you that the men are in action, of course, as well, against Durham in the county championship the first day there. They're currently 168 for 4, having won the toss and batted first. Geoffrey Archer is in the team, incidentally. Daniel Hughes fell for 60. Tom Haynes out for 4, Tom Clark for 30. James Cole's unbeaten on 43 at the moment. Daniel Ibrahim making his first championship appearance of the season, out for 5. John Simpson is in at the moment with Cole's 16 not out. So Sussex men away at Durham up at Chester Street, 168 for 4. Finn Hudson-Prentice in the team as well.
I think it's the Kookaburra ball, isn't
yes,
it?
it is, which everybody was saying will lead to a lot of runs being scored. Tough for the bowlers as well at the moment. Durham are taking wickets, but Sussex, I'm sure, will come good. Of course, John Simpson has a mountain of runs to his name. Anyway, back here with this game, and Jazz Wesley is bowling from the Cromwell Road end. A big appeal, really big appeal. She fancies that one, but the umpire says no. That was really keen. Not sure if it's too high. We'll have a look on the replay and judge it. Obviously, difficult sometimes when a spinner is bowling. You don't get time to see the replays before they're suddenly ready to bowl again. Comes in now, and this time a rather sort of hoik towards backward square leg. Just a single, and just have a look at that again. And before, that's pretty
outside the line.
Possibly hitting her outside the line. Looking at the replay, it did spin,
It
did
did
turn in. It's going to come round the wicket now to the right-hander, and this one is swept, and swept well for 4. Backward a square. Gordon this time with her first boundary.
She's got good form behind her as Amy Gordon, coming off a half century in Kent's last game against Gloucestershire. 55 opening the innings there, and 26 in their first game against Middlesex.
Yeah, they're tidy returns, aren't they? And that one was on a decent line. If she'd have missed it, she'd have been in trouble, but she middled it, and it went to the boundary, raced away. And this one is hoiked towards the boundary, down the leg side, and that'll be 4 more. One couple of bounces, and heading towards the Spenkarma Pavilion, into the advertising boards. Back-to-back boundaries for Gordon, and Kent move on to 23 for 1. And yeah, just a little bit of a concern for Jazz Wesley. Took 1 for 16 in 2 overs against Glamorgan last time out. That one, good response, and they're going to come. Oh, there's a bit of a mix-up. They were going to consider a single. Probably Gordon's call as she dropped it in front of her, but Callahan sent her back.
Don't think she was quite ready for that quick single, and you don't want to chance it against Molly Adams.
You certainly don't, and when you've already lost a wicket early, you don't want to be throwing things away. That's good line from Wesley. Good response after being hit for back-to-back boundaries, but still 9 off the over. End of the third, 23 for 1, Kent winning the toss and electing to bat in this Vitality Blast Women's League 2 match. Of course, the second tier of women's cricket. There is, though, a finals day for the top 2 in each of the South and North group. So that's what Sussex are aiming for at the moment. Middlesex are running away with the South group, but Sussex will be trying to get ahead of the likes of Kent and Glamorgan to put their names into finals day later on in the year. But right now they got some dragging back to do because Kent have made a good start.
Well, as you can probably hear on the stadium announcement, it's going to be a 4th different bowler in 4 overs. Talitha Stanley, who performed well at Lord's but has struggled since, and she will bowl to Callahan. It's a low full toss and just played into the offside.
I understand it's her 18th birthday today, Talitha Stanley, so she'll be keen to celebrate in style.
Have you ever played a cricket match on your birthday?
Do you know what? I'm not sure I've ever done anything particularly major on my birthday. With work, I've always taken it off.
Okay.
So yeah, I like to chill on my birthday.
So that one
She's at work.
Turned leg side for no run again. Yeah, unfortunately my birthday's outside the cricket season.
Yes, well,
so
to be fair, actually, good point. Mine's March the 2nd, so yeah, I'd need to be an indoor net somewhere. But I once took when I was a kid, I once took a hat-trick in the indoor nets here.
Oh.
Yeah, the third one was a real. I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Callahan faces up once more. She goes for the pull shot, doesn't get anything on it, and both her and Molly Adams lose the ball as it ended up between her feet.
So yeah, I don't know how old I was, very young I think, and I can't even remember what it was part of, but yeah, we were just bowling in the indoor school, and I think I did get a couple of the kids bowled in 2 balls, and then there was like all the build up to the 3rd ball, and I completely bowled it well too short.
Well, that one's nice and full from Stanley. They go through for a quick single. With a better throw, it might have been close, but they get through comfortably enough.
And then, yeah, so I dropped it well too short of having been, sort of got tension in my run-up probably. And then, yeah, the kid absolutely clubbed it straight into the hands of a fielder. I was like, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, I've had one hat-trick in my life, and I think the hat-trick ball was quite similar. It was a bit of a drag down leg side, and you'd have thought if the ball's going down leg side on a hat-trick ball, you just leave it alone. But the batsman had other ideas and leading edge straight to the fielder.
But if you think about all the hat-tricks that you can remember being taken in professional cricket, I'll just break away for this ball from Talitha Stanley.
She comes into Gordon, who looks to swing this leg side, and it is out, LBW. And that is a nice birthday present for Stanley. Her 5th ball dismissing Amy Gordon, who has probably been the pick of Kent's batters this year in the T20 Blast. Just seen the replay, and there was probably very little complaints could be had about that one. Struck her about halfway up in line with the off stump. And 2 down now, Kent are.
And obviously I know batters have to accept the umpire's decision. She didn't. I mean, she looks disappointed as she trudges off, quite obviously. But I don't think she necessarily. There was no surprise when the finger went up. I don't think. Put it that way.
No. As in at number 4 is Elsa Barnfather, who hit 42, a quick 42 off just 32 deliveries in Kent's last game. So potentially not the match situation for such quick scoring, but they'll need a similar score of note from her, as they're now at 24 for 2 with 1 delivery left in the 4th over. And it has been a brilliant over from Stanley, just the 1 run conceded and that wicket, of course. She will finish off to the new batter, and again it's straight and solidly defended, and that brings to an end an excellent over. Just the single from it.
Yep, and of course a wicket that in the power play is incredibly important. So 24 for 2, a runner ball so far for Kent. They have pulled that back in that over. Yeah, Callaghan and Barnfather, 2 new batters to the crease as well. Barnfather just facing that one, well, relatively new. Barnfather just facing that 1 ball, and Callaghan 9 from 11 so far. So yeah, so it's going to be it's not really an easy pitch to start on. I think once you're in, you can adjust. But so Ciara Green back and just played up the pitch by Callaghan. Barnfather actually she had to run back just to make sure she had her ground then. Green didn't notice. That one solidly hit. Might well be stopped on the boundary rope. Yes, it is.
She's got away with that delivery a bit.
Yeah, I think so as well. And obviously, outside the power play, she might have found another fielder somewhere, but inside the power play, just that one monitoring that leg side, and she found her. Barnfather just taking her time. She's batting on off stump. Again finds the fielder at mid-on, being kept busy at the moment. See, I was reading Molly Adams' column written on the Sussex Express, or Sussex World as they call it these days, website. That one's full toss. Again, shy at the stumps, just misses. Good backing up. And yes, lots to digest on that column. You can see it linked from the Sussex Twitter. But she talks a lot about her own experiences. And that one stopped, well stopped. And then says, of course, the last week was Sussex Day. This one's cut away, but only straight to the fielder. And says, even bigger than Monday and Sussex Day is Sunday, not only because of our game against Kent, and she says, and it's looking like it will be another sunny day in Brighton and Hove. Well, haven't even got that, it's 26 for 2 at the end of that over. But because it will be Talitha Stanley's 18th birthday, and she says, I know the team will be looking to celebrate Talitha's big 18th with a win over Kent and hopefully a slice of cake. So I wonder if they'll still get the cake if they don't win, but of course we know they are going to win from a Sussex perspective. That's what we're saying on here on this Sussex stream. But 26 for 2. So just bringing that rate down with that tidy over from the skipper Ciara Green.
And it will be Stanley again, so looking to apply the squeeze in the power play. Was watching Barnfather bat in the nets just before this game. She'll take strike, and she plays and misses this one outside the off stump. She's timing them well in the nets, but hasn't quite found that yet. Obviously, just faced the 4 deliveries. And as you said, not the easiest wicket to get started on. There looks a bit in it. We saw a couple spin.
Also, Sussex's field very well set. Mid on, mid off, short mid wicket, short extra cover.
Stanley in again. And this one again is on the stumps and played back down the track.
It is definitely all about getting tight, bowl tight lines. Of course, the The boundary rope probably actually not quite in as much as I think it has been in previous Sussex matches. I think it's a little bit out again. As Stanley comes in.
And this one wide of the off stump, goes for the drive, played and missed. Yeah, the square boundaries are quite long. The straight boundaries are in quite a bit.
Yes, certainly at this end it might be, I don't know if my eyes are deceiving me, it might be a longer boundary to the Cromwell Road end possibly, but it's up the hill as well. Good chat going on in the outfield between the Sussex fielders. I like that.
Stanley, who's delivered 8 dot balls, now makes that 9 in the 10 deliveries she's bowled, and this is Barnfather struggling. That's the 3rd one she's played and missed at outside the off stump, and she punches her thigh pad and then walks off and will no doubt be having a word with herself.
Yeah, always got to reset as a batter after you feel frustrated, but you've got to then face the next one.
And this one hits her on the pads. It looks quite leg side, but there is an appeal. Another one going for the cross batted shot and just not getting up quite as much as they expected.
And that is also the benefit of applying the squeeze and to really put pressure on. I don't think if she'd been turning the strike over, I don't think she'd have played that shot. I think she's looking to try and release the shackles, and that's where especially in T20, but in all white ball cricket really, and to a certain extent red ball cricket, if you can apply the pressure, that's where you can pick up wickets.
Stanley finishes her second over, and this one finds the gap and will race away to the boundary through backward point. I think it was perhaps a thick edge, but went so quickly that perhaps it was.
Yeah, she tried to drive it through the covers, I think, or at least try and sort of straight drive through, square drive through point region, and in the end, yeah, thick edge, went for 4, and that will frustrate Stanley, of course, but to bowl 2 overs, 1 for 5 is a pretty good start.
We're going to see Molly Adams standing back from the stumps for the first time. Now outside the power play.
Anna Buckle coming on to bowl now. Buckle took a couple of wickets in an over against Glamorgan. Ended up with figures of 2 for 19 from 3.
It was a double wicket maiden, wasn't it?
I think
Her
it
first
was.
over.
Yeah, I think it was.
In the 7th over as well.
And then went for. Oh yes, because we come to the end of the power play, so that's her role. I suppose pace on the ball in the power play could be risky. It's always Adil Rashid's role, isn't it, in the men's T20 game to come on immediately after the power play. So yes, I have just compared Anna Buckle to Adil Rashid.
There's a first for everything.
Chichester born Anna Buckle, 22 years old, international relations student at Leeds University, and she's going to try and cause some diplomatic relation incidents here as she comes in and bowls. And that starts with a full toss, which has been dispatched somewhere. I've lost sight of the ball. They're going to come back for another one. The bails have come off. It's all things happening, and it is a run out. Well. I was looking towards a boundary, but I don't think she got it off the middle, did she?
No.
So there is a run out there in amongst all that.
Well, from what I saw, Callaghan came straight back for 2, and Barnfather just hesitated. You probably heard on the effects mic the sort of desperate cry of yes, yes, yes. But just a bit late to respond was Barnfather, and she's fallen victim.
So let's see if we can see that. So yeah, full toss, dispatched in the air. Buckle was fuming with herself about that, and then suddenly realised, hang on a minute, I've got a job to do, and yes. Great appeal from Molly Adams, by the way, at the other end of the wicket. I had no idea whether that was out or not, but why not? It's like a centre, it's like an opposition, or like a centre. No, hang on, like a opposition striker appealing for offside. It doesn't work like that. I think if if I was the umpire, I'd say to Molly Adams, if I could give it out from where you are, I'd be stood there.
But that's the last thing Kent needed, as we said, was a run out.
Yes, and off, I mean, Anna Buckle won't mind me saying this, I don't suppose, but off that sort of delivery as well. In fact, I needed to see the replay. It didn't quite work the first time around, as you might have seen, but to see whether she might have almost been nearly caught as well. I wasn't quite sure if the ball ended up over the head of the fielder or not. They're going to have to try and get rid of that seagull now. It doesn't want to go. I mean, I don't... Yeah, it's now found its way to sort of a short leg position.
Well, there was one got hit in the ODI, England men's ODI, wasn't there?
There was, yes.
A week ago.
Matthew Potts had to try and revive it. As we'll see Anna Buckle come in. That one is much more where she wanted to land it.
Ooh.
And that's always the way with cricket, isn't it? That's more where she wanted to land that ball, and it's gone for a single. The one that ended up coming out of her hand wrong and was a full toss ended up with a wicket.
Yes. It was quite a risky single, considering a run out off the previous ball.
Yeah, it's one of those, though, in T20, I suppose there comes a point where you go, well, we've just got to keep ticking it over. And so we've got Streets at the wicket now.
Kent's vice-captain here. Nominated, I think I saw she won Players Player of the Year last year for Kent, and then has been handed the vice-captaincy off the back of that.
And she's got a thick edge on this one through the vacant slip region. That'll go for 4 and crash into the advertising boards just below our effects mic. You can probably hear that as Talitha Stanley goes and rescues the ball and throws it back in. So a boundary for Coco Streets, but unorthodox. But she'll be happy enough with the end result.
It's flying away to the boundary. All the 4s we've seen hit have really gone quickly to the ropes.
And of course, especially in T20, but in any form of cricket, but especially in T20, it's not how you get them, it's how many. And she won't mind that. The moral victory might go to the bowler, but at the end of the day, it's still 4 more runs that Sussex will have to try and get when they come on. Now, the wind might have blown the bails off at the non-strikers end. We've got aircon in here, so it's actually quite cold in here now. But as Buckle comes in and bowls, and that's driven. Sorry if you haven't got aircon in your houses, but you're probably sweltering. But it's actually a cooler day today, and the clouds are still, fairly, like a pile of damp towels. And the Sussex flag I can see above the scoreboard fluttering away quite. So there is a bit of a breeze about. It's not moving those clouds any though. As Buckle comes in and bowls, and a fumble, and that will allow them to come through for a single. Of course, with that wicket, the run out coming on the second run, Kent took a run off the first ball as well, so 7 from the over so far. There is the flag, which has now gone. Well, yeah, no, it's I thought it got a bit limp now, but no, there it's flying. Good work from the director.
Will come as some welcome relief, I think, the cooler weather.
Yes. So that one through square leg. That'll be a single. 8 off the over then from Anna Buckle, but included the run out that has left of Barnfather, that has left a combination of Gentry and Buckle herself, that has left Kent on 38 for 3 at the end of the 7th.
We can see some good dance moves going on.
Oh yes, I like that.
On
yes,
the stream.
You go for it. Down in the hospitality, where else would it be?
There's a lot of people there. We saw the women's cricket softball showcase on the outfield before the game, and I think in that region it's a lot of those who had been playing in that, and friends and family of the players.
What you mean is that if there's any dancing going on, it's because they've been there quite some time already today. Is that what you're trying to say? I wouldn't dare put words into your mouth. Incidentally, just before we see Eve O'Neill come on, I can tell you that England's men have been cracking along at a great rate. Chris Wokes has got 38 off of 48, not out at the moment.
O'Neill starts with a well-flighted delivery that It's a bit leg side, and as Callaghan goes for the big slog.
The cut long story short, England are 4.55 for 8 at the moment, and that's a big improvement on 3.98 for 7 when Harry Brook got out for 99.
This one's a bit short. Callaghan pulls. It will just be a single with 3 fielders out on that leg side boundary.
Eve O'Neill bowled very well against Glamorgan, 2 for 19, having not taken wickets against Middlesex and Gloucester, but she again she took 2 wickets in the same over as well, I seem to recall, in that one. So very talented young bowler, just 17.
And I think maybe the Adil Rashid comparison is perhaps more apt to Eve O'Neill
might be more
as a fellow leg spinner.
For Eve O'Neill than it is Anna Buckle.
As this one is played into the offside, they considered a single. Callaghan looks keen to run almost every single delivery here.
Yes, it's a bit baseball, isn't it? It's yeah. She's with her backing up. She's as we just see that seagull, which is still closer than half the fielders.
Oh, didn't quite see what happened there. It's gone through batter and keeper somehow, but it's a dot ball in the end.
Of course, there was an incident. I think it might have been, was it Hampshire against Sussex? I can't remember now.
This one's played to the offside sweeper for a single.
In the men's game, where Ben Brown was the wicket keeper, I remember that for Sussex before he moved on, and there was a shot which smashed straight into a seagull. I'm sure everybody else remembers it. But yes, that seagull currently fielding at mid-off.
This one's swept into the leg side. Molly Adams hares after it, despite the fact that there was a fielder coming in from deep square. It will be another single. Well, in fact, it's a leg bye to end the over. And on the theme of seagulls, it's the Eastbourne tennis tournament begins.
Yes.
Well, today's the qualifying day, and
yes.
I've, as an Eastbourne man myself, I've been there quite a few times, and there's almost.
Well, it's very close to the college, of course.
Yes, almost every game there seems to be a stoppage for a low-flying seagull, or seagulls on the pitch, or on the court. I'm
from that neck of the woods originally as well. I was born in Dartford, but I moved to Eastbourne at the age of 5, and lived there for a good number of years. And the other feature, of course, of that tournament, like a lot of things in England, is wind. There's half stopped, should be a single, and is, or throw, direct hit, but possibly. Good job that it was intercepted by the stumps on the way, because it was a heavy throw, and there was backing up, to be fair, from Eve O'Neill out there would have been backing up, I think, but the wind, I know that I read some fairly silly stuff back in the day from players. A few players said they didn't go to enter Eastbourne. They'd play at Hertogenbosch or whatever before Wimbledon because they didn't like the wind. This one will be tickled round the corner. That will run away for 4. There's not much point in the fielders who are converging from either side of the wicket on that one, because that was always going to run away for 4, and it was obviously angled down leg but played deliberately as well, so no cover down there, even though of course we are outside the power play, so the fielders on the rope are square on the wicket on either side, and then there is third man and deep backward square leg.
She did well there to get it well behind square and into that gap, didn't try and overhit it, and would have ended up just being a single if she had.
Oh, that's neatly played down towards backward points, and they'll pick up a couple more runs there.
Well picked up from Nancy Harmon on the boundary, very close to the rope, just leant down with one hand, and would have been an angry captain if she had missed it, having done it that casually, but no need in the end.
Yeah, I've seen that before with players trying to sort of put their boots out to stop things, and it all goes wrong. I don't know whether, yeah, going short on that one, and single takes Kent to 49 for 3. Coming towards the end of the 9th over. Streets 13 not out, Callahan 16. Run rate still below a runner ball. The figure that you can see on your screen, if you're watching on the stream, the WASP figure is the score predictor. That says 130 at the moment. And that's running up the hill, should be stopped from going for 4, but they'll pick up a couple.
Ooh.
Just had to hurry. There's an appeal, but the umpire is not keen on giving that one. But yes, so the end of... Oh no, not quite. No, we've got another ball, haven't we? But we've got 50 up for Kent, 51 for 3, with 1 ball remaining in the 9th. There is one match going on in this group as well, and Middlesex are 162 without loss after 16.4 overs, which I think is 100 balls, isn't it, judging by the 100? I think it's 16.4. That's going to be a wide down the leg side. I mean, even for the 100, that would be a good score.
Finty Trussler there is 90 not out, 14 4s and 3 6s. We did see 100 in Tier 1 a week ago or so, but there's been no 100s in the Tier 2 blast yet.
So Finty Trussler well on course for that. I mean, she's
got 3 overs left
to do it, yeah. Of course, Gloucester struggling at the bottom at the moment, as that one short. Oh, it was... She carted it really from the offside out into the leg. It looked like it was there to be cut. It was short and wide. I need to see the replay to see how close to her it was. Probably decided it was too close to get a decent cut shot away. In the end, sort of shanked it out on the leg side. Fortunately though, it landed safely, and Kent are 53 for 3. Streets is 13 from 9. Callahan is 19 from 24. And under grey leaden skies, this is how the scorecard looks in case you joined us late here at Hove. Gordon LBW Old Stanley for 9, Paul Cook Collis Bold Green for 4, Callahan unbeaten on 19, Barnfather run out after a fairly chaotic passage of play for 5, Streets is not out 13, and that, as I say, makes Kent 53 for 3.
As it will be Eve O'Neill to continue. And Callahan once again is on the sweep, not timing it though, just a single. She hit that one cut shot early on that she timed brilliantly, but since then she just hasn't quite found her timing, I don't think, on this pitch. And Eve O'Neill particularly giving the ball a lot of flight, and when she's full like that it makes it quite hard to time.
Yeah, she's very good at that, as we see again there, floating up, and the wind might well give her an extra bit of natural variation through the air.
As this one is almost chopped on by Streets. She went for the cut shot with it to quite a straight delivery, which is perhaps not the best idea. She gets away with it. As this one wraps her on the pads, but it's quite leg side.
Yeah, Molly Adams went up for the appeal first, and Eve O'Neill kind of turned around almost as an afterthought. And it's those sort of appeals where the umpire almost doesn't need to have seen what happened. It's like, well, if you don't think it's that out, then I'm not going to bother.
As this one is played and missed outside the off stump.
This is an excellent over so far from Eve O'Neill. Really is tidy.
Yeah, we approach the halfway stage, and to just go for 1 off the over with 4 fielders on the boundary is good going. Yeah. As that will be a second single from the over.
Excellent over from Eve O'Neill, that.
2 overs, none for 5 she's got now, as the score at halfway is 55 for 3.
And that score predictor says 131, which I have to say I think would be optimistic from this point, because that would require another 76 off. Well, I suppose no. Well, if they get a move on 70, yeah, maybe.
If these two stay in for the next 3 or 4 overs, they'd be hoping to speed up to at least a runner ball or above.
Quite a long tactical chat between Streets and Callahan in the middle. maybe about which bowlers to try and target. Obviously they'll have seen all of them now. Kiara Green back for her third, again bowling from the Cromwell Road end, down the slope towards Streets, Cocoa Streets. And that is going to be a single.
We can hear the wind now on the effects mic.
Yeah, it's starting to have an effect, isn't it? Just having a look at the men in action. 204 for 4 at the moment against Durham. Good tidiness from the captain again, getting applause from her wicket-keeper as well. You could sort of see both batters are ticking a little bit, can't you? They're wanting to try and cut loose.
It's just been good tight bowling from Sussex. You mentioned earlier that they had a well set field, but the captain can set the field, but it's up to the bowlers to bowl the right deliveries for that field, and Sussex have done that brilliantly so far today.
Absolutely. I agree. Now just in conversation with the umpires about switching sides. So she's going to come over the wicket to Streets. That one flicked for a single. Sussex won't mind this, I don't suppose, even if you know, I mean, you want to try and get maybe 2 or 3 balls straight in a row against the same batter, but you know, even if they're rotating the strike, even if they're keeping the scoreboard ticking over, as long as they're not conceding too many boundaries, that's a big shout. And given Tilly Callaghan exits stage left. I'm not entirely sure she was necessarily happy with the decision.
I would say it looked out from here. Not that we're at the perfect angle, but it looked pretty straight.
Oh yeah, no, that looks plumb. That does look plumb. Would probably have been going on to hit leg stump, I would say. Got herself into a bit of a tangle. She tried to play across the line.
Perhaps the disappointment more with being dismissed rather than
yeah, she was right
the way
back in her crease
dismissed.
as well, and it's like I said earlier, with a similar shot which was absolutely nailed and went for 4. It's one of those where the line was so good that if you do miss it, you are banging front.
Yes. Well, the new batter is 16-year-old Genevieve Gier, who
I think is the only Kent change to the lineup. Is that right? From
yes,
their last match.
And I think this is her first game, at least in the T20 Blast this year.
Kiara Green picking up her second wicket. Skipper doing a great job. Sussex will be very pleased with how they've bowled so far today. Still work to be done. And that one marks the end of a very successful over for Kiara Green. Just 3 runs conceded and the wicket of Callaghan, and it means that at the end of the 11th Kent are 58 for 4, and that score predictor now dropping down dramatically because it does take into account, of course, resources that so wickets will really impact it, and yeah, in 1 over that's gone down to 121. 58 for 4 after 11.
Looks like we're going to have a new bowler into the attack in the shape of Indigo Gentry. 7th bowler used by Sussex today. I mean, they've got plenty of options, and the couple of the seamers proving quite expensive so far. Captain Green is turning to Gentry. And as I was saying, Genevieve Gier yet to play in the T20 Blast. She played in the County Cup for Kent and made 2 decent scores of 33 and 20 against Middlesex and Berkshire. But different kettle of fish today against a very good Sussex bowling attack, as that one is just steered straight to point. Made her debut as a 13-year-old against Sussex, did Gier, and she's remarkably young to be playing county cricket. seen a few 16-year-olds starring for Sussex over the years.
Absolutely. And
James Coles and Archie Lenham of recent times in the men's team, and Molly Adams has recently turned 17, I think. So that one's a wide ball outside the off stump.
this is Indigo Gentry's first bowling in this competition. Didn't play against Gloucestershire, so only played against Middlesex and Glamorgan. This is her first with the bit of action with the ball.
This one again is short and wide outside the off stump, this time beating the fielder in the ring, but just for a single. She's got the height, so you'd expect a bit of pace behind it, and Adams is indeed standing back from the stumps. And whether it's a deliberate ploy to bowl that sort of shorter length, or whether that's just...
Yeah, and you think about, I mean, I'm sure obviously Kiara Green's got a plan for the rest of her attack over the next 8 overs, but you know, they had quite a lot of success with the slower bowling.
Gentry, this one's much fuller and driven, but doesn't pierce the ring.
Unless it is a plan for, you know, when Gia's come out to the pitch, out to the wicket, maybe thinking, you know, get some pace into the game. It's only faced 2 deliveries. Of course, that first one was at the end of the last over.
This one's turned leg sider. Stifled appeal, and fairly certain it came off the bat.
Yep. The umpire's signalling, I think, that very thing. Or at least not signalling leg by, more to the point.
So Gia is off the mark, but Sussex continuing to keep that run rate well under 6 and over. At 5.23 at the moment. And that one is again played to the offside sweeper. You'd have thought anything around the sort of 100 to 120 region would put Sussex quite firm favourites before they come out with the bat.
Yeah, they were obviously short of runs in the match against Middlesex, but yeah, if they can, you know, they'll be happy to try and chase something around in that region.
This one's low full toss, but just again another single, and 5 runs will come from the over. 63 for 4.
I quite like that last ball. It you know, I think in one-day cricket it's you know, a very valid tactic to try and bowl just within those blue tram lines and make life tricky for the batters to actually drive.
Yeah, well, even though it was a full toss, there wasn't really anything she could have done with it except what she did do, which was because it's too wide. You know, it's sort of that length delivery could open up to a scoop, but not with that line, and so there's not really much that can be done if you get the delivery right, which Gentry did.
So Kiara Green is going to bowl herself out here. She? No, she's just handed the ball over actually to Kellyanne Doherty. She had the ball in her hand. It was her. Would have been her over, but Doherty bowling. And got away with that one slightly.
Well, she hasn't. It's been signalled a no ball.
Is it a no ball for height? Okay, above waist height.
Yeah, interestingly, the square leg umpire didn't call that, but obviously the standing umpire has the final say.
Unless, of course, they are mic'd up, which they might be.
Yes.
So, yes, so a free hit, the first free hit of the afternoon, which Streets will take. And clubbed, but not necessarily timed, but will still run away for 4. Up the hill. So that first delivery costing Sussex 5 runs. nearly took out a non-striker actually, who was already darting down the wicket. That is a tactic Kent are trying to use. Is the non-striker, when the ball is delivered, is ending up halfway down the wicket. I don't want to use the word mankad at the moment, but this one will find the fielder. I am joking, of course, they wouldn't dare. Although, of course, famously happened with the England women's team a couple of years back. Trying to remember who that Charlie Dean involved in that one.
Yes.
Was it?
Well, she was the one run out. Can't remember. The bowler was maybe Deepti Sharma.
That's tight again.
But I would say that's probably been the most controversial mankad ever, given that it was to win a match and
yes.
such a tight situation.
Yes. That one, a quick single taken, and a direct hit again, but well home. It happened a couple of times, which at least shows that the throwing is on point.
Yeah. Well, they have fielded well of Sussex. I think maybe one misfield that's cost anything that I've noticed.
Yeah. There's been ones where it's sort of beaten a dive or whatever, but you can't, necessarily blame anybody for that. And also, they've tended to be fielders behind them as well, especially outside the power play. That one very similar, but not. I haven't taken the run on that occasion. Street's 23 from 22, so she's building quite nicely. She'll be a threat in the back end if she stays there, so Sussex will probably want to remove her sooner rather than later. 71 for 4, last ball of the 13th. Up in the air, taken. So sooner rather than later is exactly it. And Coco Streets does depart. And Kalyan Doherty has a wicket. Cramped her for room, really. Chipped it up in the air, and Sussex have their 5th. And Doherty gets the congratulations of her colleagues. Her 2nd wicket of the tournament. Played in the first 2 games against Middlesex and Gloucestershire. Took just bowled 1 over, 0 for 4 against Middlesex, 1 for 9 in 2 overs against Gloucester. Didn't play against Glamorgan. She has a wicket in this one, and it's the important wicket of Coco Streets, who departs for a run of ball 23, and at the end of the 17th, Kent 71 for 5.
Well, it's all going Sussex's way really here. As you said, an important wicket at an important time as they were just looking to get some momentum towards the end of the innings. The new batter for Kent is Emily Thompson, the wicket-keeper, who is one of the longest-serving members in this team, having played for Kent from 2014 to 2017, then moving elsewhere before returning last year. She has just played the 1 game in this competition, with Megan Sturge having played as a wicket-keeper on loan against Middlesex. She hit 12 not out against Gloucestershire.
Eve O'Neill from the sea end.
As this one's played and missed by Gier. Some good bounce on that delivery, taken just above waist height by Adams.
Gier made sure her back foot was well inside the crease there. She almost hit her own wicket.
That looks close, but a bit leg side probably. As they come through for a leg bye.
Let's have a look on the replay.
Yeah,
it's heading down that way. Oh, it's in fact, it's come well. It's your leg spin. Yeah, it's hit her. It's basically, it would have possibly gone on to hit the stumps, but it's certainly hit outside the line actually of leg stump. Pitched outside leg. Oh, it had nothing going for it.
But there's no harm in appealing. You never know what the umpire might say. As this one looks potentially like a googly from O'Neill, came back in a bit to Thompson.
Yeah, definitely the googly. There was the one in the county championship. Ben Stokes retweeted it, didn't he, with a question sort of mark type thing, and
So this one's well flighted, swept behind square and will beat the fielder. That's a lovely shot from Thompson, going away to the boundary, a much needed boundary for Kent. First one that O'Neill has conceded.
Yeah, that's, I'm just trying to remind myself of the last boundary that hit. Was that off the free hit maybe, was the last one?
Yes.
England men, incidentally, rescuing the situation, ended up being bowled out for 465, so they trail only by 6 at tea.
One innings game essentially now.
Yep, means they've wasted half the match. Needn't have bothered.
This one just prodded into the offside for no run.
2.5 days and we're 6 runs apart. Mind you, they could have had a lead, but they cost themselves 5 penalty runs when the ball hit the helmet, and also they had 4 overthrows when there was poor backing up as well, so that's 9 runs that's cost them. But here Sussex are fielding very tightly.
She got away with that last one slightly, did O'Neill. Was a bit too short, but couldn't find the gap. 14
overs in, 76 for 5. You're watching the Sussex Club stream. Sussex Sharks against Kent, 76 for 5. And of course Kent, very formidable side in their own right, so Sussex won't be treating any target lightly. Incidentally, in that other Div 2 Tier 2 South match, Middlesex I think got 201 in the end off their 20 overs.
Yeah, well, we put the mockers on Finty Trussler because she was dismissed, I think, 1 ball after we gave a summary of the score.
Oh, yeah.
490.
For 90. So Wesley bowling from the Cromwell Road end, went for 9 from her first over. Yeah, but they finished 201 for 1 against Gloucestershire. Trussler was run out, so I don't quite know what went on there. Wesley cuts this one, but will be fielded. Out for a single, 77 for 5, with 34 balls remaining in this innings. I am slightly concerned by those clouds, but
I mean, it's slightly tinted glass, so perhaps it's making them look darker than they really are, but he's looking very dark.
And the floodlights aren't on, to be fair. Up in the air and caught. Smart catch taken by Izzy Collis. And Wesley gets in on the act. Just slapped straight to Collis, who did well just to keep her balance and complete the catch. Thompson goes, Kent 77 for 6. And Wesley with her second wicket of the competition. She took 1 for 16 against Glamorgan.
Yeah, a good catch in the ring, came to her quickly and just took it above her head. And yeah, Kent in trouble here, because there's all the chance that this innings could sort of drop away and they might not even make the full 20 overs in the end.
Yep, and that's of course the always the cardinal sin, isn't it, with white ball cricket, not batting through your overs. But at the moment Kent have got a bit of a job on to try and do so. Zina Bilal comes out to bat.
First time she's batted it in this competition.
Megan Bell, Izzy James and Alice Grant waiting in the dugout. She's going to get off the mark. Bilal first up. Good running as well. Didn't necessarily need to be, but they were sharp for that run. 78 for 6. Wesley from the Cromwell Road end just tosses the ball from one hand to another. And then
Bales fell off.
Oh, the bails fell off. Now, yeah, it could have been the wind. Did she get tight into them as well? Did she not? I'm not sure. I think the wind might have blown them off. Of course, I suppose Sussex will have somewhere the extra heavy bails, possibly. It's the second time the bails at that end have come off. clearly the ones at this end have made of sterner stuff. She gets tight in, doesn't she?
She does. I couldn't quite tell whether she knocked them off or whether it was the wind.
Wouldn't be both of them, would it? It might have only been one, unless she ran into it that hard.
Yeah, but the stumps hadn't moved, so presumably it was just the wind.
And bowled. So another wicket for Wesley. 2 in the over. Sussex well on top, and the youngster Gia goes for 5. Floated. Gia went for a big one across the line. And yeah, just beaten in the flight. Wesley has 2. Sussex have 7. Kent at the end of the 15th, 78 for 7. And having won the toss and elected to bat, the visitors from the east are subsiding at the moment, but of course can only tell what a good score is once we've started to see Sussex bat. But 78 for 7 feels light at the moment.
And there's still 2 overs to come from Stanley.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see actually how Ciara Green juggles her bowlers in the remaining 5 overs. Eve O'Neill is going to continue to bowl from the C end.
This is her final over. Green has 1 more, Stanley 2, and then 1 over from someone else. Would be what I would suggest, but it's who that over comes from. O'Neill is into Bilal, who gets a thin edge on this, beats Adams, who had no chance, but won't go to the boundary, and they will just get 2. Going for the cut shot.
Gentry there doing the fielding.
Interestingly enough, Zina Bilal is also a pretty handy footballer. Plays for Bromley FC, which I don't follow football myself, so don't know much about their women's team. This one's another single.
Always nice to be good at 2 things. I wish I was good at 1 thing. But, there is what I do know is there is a big movement against early specialisation, which I shall come on to after this.
This one is played into the offside, sets off late for the single, but will still.
Gosh, she really did scamper, didn't she? It
was a very late call for what was really an obvious and easy single.
It looked like one of the easiest singles of the day, didn't it? Yeah, and it left her needing to really get her skates on.
Gets the captain belt off the markers. That's pretty much the perfect leg break from O'Neill. Beats Bilal on the outside edge.
Yeah, early specialisation when youngsters, real young people, are encouraged to just sort of settle on one sport early on in their lives.
As Bilal comes forward in defence.
And there's a real big movement against that now, because they say, well, it gives you a lot of different, if you are good at different sports or try different sports, it can really give you some different life skills, even if you end up playing something else down the line.
So this is cut away firmly, but straight to the sweeper, so just a single. Well, Bilal is only 18 years old, so.
And I dare say, if she wants to pursue a professional cricket career, Tier 1 or something, and then, because this is the fear, of course, that eventually Tier 1 clubs will poach the best players, best young talent from those in Tier 2, before the Tier 2 teams can get time to establish in their own way. But yeah, whatever the future is for not just her, but any other young player, of in their mid to late teens. Lots of cricketers, for example, have played other sports in their teens. Rugby or football tend to be the main ones, as we see more now from Wesley. 2 wickets in her previous over, so yeah, got to give her another one at least. There'll be 4 overs to bowl. Wesley's got 2 to come if she wants them, or at least if she's given them by her captain. She'll want them, I dare say. Straight to the field, a good bit of fielding that. Gets hearty applause from Molly Adams behind the stumps.
Yeah, the way things have run away to that boundary. That was probably 4 if she had missed it.
Tumbling stop. Couldn't find any contact on that one, Bilal, who's 5 from 9 at the moment. Belt, the captain, of course, just faced that one ball, which got her off the mark. The score predictor now down to 107. Was up in the 130s earlier. That will help. Get at least a single. Good bit of fielding and prevents any more. So yeah, Sussex will take these singles as long as, I say, they don't go for boundaries. What Kent want to see is a boundary really in each over if they can from here. If they can somehow get themselves a boundary off of one of these last 2 balls. Attempted reverse, but given out. So a short and not very sweet stay at the crease for Megan Belt, the Kent captain. One ball which she took a single from, and then her second, which admittedly came some time apart from the other. Attempted reverse, bang in front, LBW, would have gone on to cannon into off stump. So Kent down to 84 for 8 now, and we are 1 ball away from the end of the 17th over.
Well, it's just showing you this innings, while wickets aren't necessarily the most important thing in T20 bowling, that when you take wickets, it really does take the momentum away from a batting innings. As you were saying, the predicted score was up at 131 at a point, and now it's down to just exactly 100, and you'd say probably with only 2 wickets left, Kent would actually do pretty well to even reach triple figures.
Absolutely, yes. Hopefully, of course, now the weather stays kind. The Sussex men were perhaps helped out by the weather against Essex.
Yes.
Not that long ago. Sussex really need this win if they can get it, because it will just keep Kent, who have a game in hand, just sort of at arm's reach below them. But as I say, lots of work to be done. At the end of the 17th over, Kent 84 for 8, and Bilal on 6, and the new batter is James.
Yeah, yet to bat in this competition is Izzy James, and the Met Office is saying there's less than a 5% chance of rain.
We'll stick with them. We'll stick with the Met Office. Gloucestershire have lost a wicket at the end of that first over in reply to Middlesex's 201. So that could be, well, I was about to say it could be a long afternoon for Gloucestershire. It could be actually too much of a short one for them.
Yes.
But we'll wait and see. Still plenty of time to go in that one as well. But Middlesex Women 201 for 1 in their 20 overs against Gloucestershire. So that really should cement the Middlesex's place at the top of the division and Gloucestershire's place at the bottom of it.
Well, Middlesex defeated Gloucestershire by 208 runs in the one-day competition. Finty Trussler there scored 137, so she likes batting against that opposition, as this one is straight up in the air, and it's dropped. That was really a poor drop from Nancy Harmon. Could have been another birthday present for Stanley, who's back into the attack, and that should have been taken.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure quite how close she got to it. Let's have a look on the replay. Spooned up in the air. Yeah, just went through it. And it's one of those ones, especially against the grey sky, this white ball, not easy to pick out sometimes.
They did complete a single, so James takes strike. This one just goes out into the offside. But yeah, Gloucestershire looking like being on the end of another heavy defeat from Middlesex.
Melissa Story at the crease for Gloucestershire at the moment, who I think is involved in her Game 2 cricket side of things.
Stanley into James once more. This is full and played into the offside.
Yeah, I have to say that earlier I talked about the two sort of more specialist batters for Kent sort of ticking and thinking they can try and, if they can just try and cut loose. the body language of the tail enders is not is not the same. They're looking slightly resigned to their fate, I think, but.
Well, I'm sure. Well, this one is dropped again. That was a more difficult chance, but as you can tell by Izzy Collis's reaction as she stays down for quite a while, she was upset not to have taken that one, moving away to her right.
Yeah, whenever you're moving through the air, of course, and there's moving parts, it can always go wrong. Took a good catch earlier.
As Bilal goes for this one, it's straight up. Molly Adams calls it, and this time it is taken. Third time lucky for Sussex in the over. And there could have almost been a collision there as 3 fielders initially set off.
Well, I tell you what happened here is that she suddenly said, right, I've got gloves, so
yeah.
So
let me take the next one.
I'm going for this one. I think to be fair, that ball could have gone anywhere and she'd have been herring after it. I literally have catching aids on, so I'm going to help you. If you want a good job done, do it yourself. That's what she was saying. So 86 for 9.
And 100 looks a long way off now for Kent. Alice Grant, the last batter in. And I mean, what do you do now? Do you try and get some quick runs, or do you try and bat out the overs and hope that you sort of scrape 10, 15, maybe more?
The trouble is, there's always one with your name on it coming, isn't there? That's the problem, and for the tail enders anyway. They only have to play the wrong line, and that's them done for. So I think probably swinging is the way to go from here.
Well, that's certainly what Bilal was trying to do, but Grant just defends this one into the offside, and it ends another fantastic over from Talitha Stanley, who's got figures of 3 overs, 2 wickets for just 7 runs, including 14 dot balls.
Wow, that's some return from her. So yeah, 2 overs to bowl, and it's now all about what Kiara Green wants to do with them.
Well, it looks like she's going to take this one herself.
Well, she's certainly got ball in hand, but I was fooled by that before. She just then suddenly tossed it to someone else. But nope, she is going to take the last 2 for 10 in her 3 overs. See there the bowling figures on your screen. This one will be at least 1, and just going to take the 1.
She bowls a lot flatter than the other spinners in this Sussex lineup, doesn't she?
I mean, certainly compared to Eve O'Neill, who you have to, she flights it so much that you've got time to boil an egg before considering. Ooh.
Was that a drop?
I'm not quite sure what that came off.
No reaction from the fielders, so perhaps it was just a play and a miss.
Let's have a look here. Yeah, it was to borrow the terminology. Yes, it was a clear gap between bat and ball. Move on to ball tracking when ready. Kiara Green, just a couple of deliveries left for her. And you do get the feeling that we are just going through the motions here. Perhaps taking your line of approach of just trying to bat through and at least that will find the fielder. So just 2 runs from that over. Green finishes with figures of 2 for 11. Kent on 88 for 9. And we have 1 over to be described by Oliver.
Well, it's Sussex definitely on top, and as you said, they won't take any chase lightly. But I mean, if at any time you're chasing less than 100 in a T20, you'd consider yourself strong favourites.
There is that psychological factor, isn't it, if they can keep it below, if they can keep it below 100, which you would reckon on the balance of the recent history of the last 19 overs that that would be the case. And it's Talitha Stanley to bowl out.
This one is well delivered outside the off stump, close to that wide line, but just the right side of it for Sussex. Slower ball, I think, out the back of the hand, it looks like, on that replay.
Yep, and definitely well within those blue tram lines, which indicate the wide markers for the umpire.
Grant having a swing though, so there may be catching opportunity, but she doesn't swing at this one, just plays it back down the ground.
Still remember that Jofra Archer delivery in the Super Over in the World Cup final, the very first one. That was, I'm still not sure that was a wide to this day. It seemed to be inside those blue marks, but in the end we won, so it didn't really matter. Jofra Archer, of course, back for Sussex in the men's 4-day game up at Durham.
Stanley in another slower delivery, a bit of an edge and a misfield, and this might run away to the boundary. In fact, it will. There's just you'd suspect it won't have too much impact. Sussex will be hoping, but there's just been a bit of sloppiness in this last couple of overs in the field.
I mean, in the end, the drop catches didn't matter too much because, of course, they took the wicket not long after. But yeah, I wonder whether there was just a little bit. The ball might have got a little bit of action on it after the sort of the way the ball was played into almost sort of off the edge.
It's another back of a hand slower ball, a low full toss, hit for just a single.
Proper long barrier there. Good bit of long barrier work in the outfield.
She fired the throw back in.
Jazz Wesley out there.
2 deliveries left in the over, 93 for 9. James has 2 from 7, so you'd suspect on that evidence that Sussex will be able to keep Kent below 100. Stanley will certainly be hoping so, as that one's down leg side and excellently taken by Molly Adams. Keeps it to just the wide.
Almost doesn't matter what the strike rate is of the batter if you end up conceding extras and going towards 100, but really good take.
Very quick work behind the stumps.
A la Sarah Taylor, of course. Sussex had some very good wicket keepers.
This one is a dot ball into the leg side, and the final delivery, well, the final legal delivery of the innings now coming up.
You're saying that Kent might struggle to get to 100. I would love it if she suddenly dispatched this into the crowd.
That would be quite some
into the hospitality area. See if that woman's still dancing.
Can she do that? No, it's clipped into the leg side. They'll come through, attempt the single. A direct hit would have been out, but she just had one stump to aim at, did Harman, and they will complete the single, meaning that the innings will end with Kent 95 for 9. Stanley finishing with figures of 2 for 14 from her 4 overs. Wesley 3 for 12. Kiara Green 2 for 11. The pick of the bowlers. And top scoring for Kent, vice captain Coco Streets with 23.
Yep, so Kent, having won the toss, selected the bat, 95 for 9 in their 20 overs. So Sussex Sharks will need 96 to win, and we'll be back to watch their chase in just a moment.
There's also a food drink available in the sketch car for you, hot cold drinks as well as sandwich snacks and everything. Quick run through of Sussex Sharks Women. Yara Green, 4 overs, terminated to 11. Danny Johnson, 2 overs, terminated to 1 for 17. Jack Wesley, 3 overs, terminated 3 for 12. Tanner Stanley, 4 overs, terminated 2 for 14. Anna Buckle, 2 overs, terminated 7 for 20. Eva O'Neill, 4 overs, terminated 9 for 14. And the David, 1 over, no games. Come on. So coming up after today's signal, it will be time for the Sharks. They need 96 to win.
There's nothing, there's no bras in there. Not, yeah.
Well, welcome back. Hope you've had time to have a cup of tea and maybe even a slice of cake on this Sunday afternoon, where we've got Vitality Blast Women's T20 action from the second tier, the South Group, between Sussex Sharks and Kent. And Sussex Sharks restricting Kent to 95 for 9 in their 20 overs. But we're now going to see if Sussex can overhaul that target, or whether Kent can put the squeeze on and take early wickets and threaten the opening partnership then of Izzy Collis and the returning Rachel King, who made 68 not out in her only appearance in the competition so far this season. That was against Gloucestershire. So Gordon is going to bowl here, and it's Andrew Rayburn with you. I'll let Oliver take this first.
Okay.
Over from this end.
Well,
keeping the same ends as before.
Yes. Amy Gordon in to Collis. This one's pulled into the leg side, no run. Amy Gordon opening the batting and the bowling here for Kent.
Don't get that very often, do you? At least I looked it up once about Test cricket. Actually, I was quite interested but that tends to be. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Actually,
This one, she's got away with that a bit. It was a bit of a drag down, but well fielded on the used wicket.
Yeah, it tends to be Night Watchman there, that where you get that Jack Leach, etc., in India or whatever.
Again, tucked leg side for no run.
Now you can see on your screen the where the score predictor was. You now get sort of a win predictor, 97% for Sussex. So they're heavy favourites at the moment.
It's nicely played, just dabbed into the offside for a single. Callaghan will field. Two fielders out are at long on, sort of a straight mid wicket. So both fielders out are on the leg side and quite straight, which tells you something about how Gordon is going to bowl. As King, first ball she's faced, goes down and plays the scoop shot, just a single off it, which makes it quite an interesting choice because a lot of risk in that shot, but to just get a single. It was a proper dill scoop as well, straight over her head, not sort of getting out the way and ramping it. Final ball of the over is again the same shot that Collis played off her previous delivery, and another single. So the over comes to an end with 3 without loss.
So, yeah, Rachel King, as I mentioned, 68 not out off of 54 balls against Gloucestershire. Hampshire Academy graduates, played for the Surrey Seconds. Izzy Collis at the other end has scored 62 runs in her 3 innings so far. 29 against Middlesex, 24 against Gloucester, 9 against Glamorgan. But she did hit 67 against Kent in her one-day cup match back in 2019. Her and Kiara Green, I think, the only 2 survivors from that team back then. Alice Grant will come on to bowl at the other end for Kent.
She hit 39 against Kent as well this year in the one-day cup, did Izzy Collis, so an opposition she likes batting against.
And that one is whipped straight to square leg. So timed it quite nicely, but didn't beat the fielder.
An inch to the left or right, and that would have been 4.
Yes, because there's no boundary rider on that side. So the 2 fielders are actually at third man and deep extra cover, and that again doesn't beat the field. So yeah, nobody protecting the leg side boundary. 3 fielders on the leg side, a mid-on, mid-wicket and square leg. Mid-off, and then 3 catchers inside the ring. And that one is going to find the leg side boundary. I think Collis had been eyeing that one up, and anything on middle or leg was going to get dispatched. And Grant's paid the price. Be interesting to know, wouldn't it, if obviously captaincy you have to be fairly flexible and everything else, but you also do have plans. You want to execute those. You want to know where you're starting from at the beginning. But whether those plans have had to be adapted based on the runs that they don't have to play with, if you like, once you have less than 100 to defend, do you need to change your tactics? And I just wonder whether they might want to tighten up that leg side boundary. Bit of a fiddle at that one. Collis goes through a repertoire of other shots she could have played. So Grant in, and again, wow, attempted cut. That's been given as a wide. The throw at the stumps. Oh, and now there's an overthrow. It's all going off now. And if that had hit the stumps, there would have been an appeal for a run out. Oh, it's, and amidst all that, the ever calm Rachel King takes guard. But yeah, that was an odd one from the wicketkeeper through towards the stumps, and nobody was there to collect it cleanly.
Ooh.
Beautiful shot, that. Beautiful shot from King.
There's 2 fielders at point, a point and a backward point, and she managed to split them both perfectly. Both fielders diving for it.
Almost collided with each other.
Yeah.
It's gone down on your scoreboard as 4 to Collis, but that was King after that run from that sort of run off the wide. Ooh, appeal, but nothing doing from the umpire. So at the end of all that, 12 without loss, and it's gone up on the main scoreboard as Collis as well here on the ground. That looks close.
That is very close. It's hit her in front of middle stump. don't seem too bothered that it's been given not out to the Kent fielders.
Well, they won't have seen the replays we have. There's currently a seagull fight going on in front of us. Not quite sure what they're after. And the strains of Taylor Swift ring out around the ground. We need to clarify what went on with those last couple of balls, I think, because it's definitely King who got the boundary, wasn't it? That split the two defenders, but she was on strike because of the wide that they then took a run from.
Yeah, I think
so. I'm not entirely sure the score's right, let alone who's got what.
I think the scorers have missed that single.
Unless, well, no, it wouldn't have been called dead, would it? Would the ball have been called dead? But no, but then they would have made the batters return to the. So, because King definitely faced the next ball, because I saw her do it.
Well, our Collis is just speaking to the umpires here, and they're looking at the scoreboard.
Yeah, because apart from anything else, I'm not entirely sure. It's all well and good saying, well, hang on a minute, I haven't got 10, I've got 6, and King's got 5. But it's not really about that. It's the fact I think they're a run short as well, and that could prove crucial. And you can hear the seagulls now fighting amongst themselves down by our FX.
5 or 6 of them now.
As long as they don't try and mate with it, we'll be fine. I'm not. Someone's got a chip. One of them's got a chip, and that's it. After that, anyway.
Amongst all that, it will be Zina Bilal into bowl, and she's right on the money straight away. She was the pick of the bowlers in Kent's last game as they defeated Gloucestershire. She took 2 for 21.
Well, someone's just got from the hospitality area has just fed them, so this is why we're going to have seagulls on our effects mic for the next 15 minutes.
The scoreboard has now been fixed, so the score is at 13 for none. As well as this one's driven to the sweeper on the offside. One fielder out. Either side of the wicket is the field for Bilal.
Yep, so that is now accurate with the extra run, and King getting the boundary.
And it will be King to face Bilal now as she drives, but doesn't get any timing on it.
A reminder of the rest of the Sussex lineup: Nancy Harmon in at first drop, Kiara Green at 4, Molly Adams 5, Jazz Wesley at 6, Indigo Gentry, Talitha Stanley, Eve O'Neill, Callie Doherty and Anna Buckle.
Well, you'd suspect Wesley and below will be hoping they won't be needed with such a small chase. As this is 4 more to King. Cut away nicely. She came down the track, but the ball was still short enough to be able to cut, and beats the diving point fielder. Just too wide, and not the line or length that Bilal would be looking for. It's been a loose start from the Kent bowlers, the exception of Gordon, who's over just for 3 runs, but yeah, they'll really need to peg Sussex back however they can here. So it's another single into the leg side, and not sure King was quite ready for the throw to come to her end though. We are straight on here, so it's difficult to tell whether she was in her crease, but it looked quite close had the throw been a direct hit. It wasn't though. She survives and adds a single to her total. As it's a low full toss to end the over, and it's pulled away for 4. Didn't time it perfectly, but she didn't need to, and in fact it's a no ball, so it won't end the over. So that's a costly mistake from Bilal, as not only does the ball go for 4, it means there will now be a free hit.
Yeah, it's the last thing they need, really, Kent, when you are defending a very small total.
As we hear the siren go off in the stadium.
Attention all fans, this could end up coming your way.
Well, we're yet to see a maximum today, but can Collis find one here? No.
to answer your own question.
As is so often the case, the free hit just goes for a single into the leg side. But the score is 25 without loss after 3 overs. And the required run rate now is just at 4.2 and over, or near enough. 71 required off 17 overs. Sussex would struggle, and it's obviously early stages, just 3 overs into the innings, but Sussex would struggle to lose this from here. They've got them off to a good start, have King and Collis.
Famous last words. Speaking of getting off to a good start, or at least a reasonable start, Gloucestershire 84 for 3 after 10 overs, so they're going to come up short. But that's a half decent response, still needing 118 from the final 10, but to try and threaten Middlesex's 201. But that's the other game in this group which is going on at the moment. You sense that Middlesex will be too strong and finish top. So James to bowl from the Cromwell Road end, and will bowl to Collis when she's ready, which she is now. Can't beat the inner field.
Leg spin in the power play, very rarely seen. But Kent, as Sussex did, starting with 4 different bowlers in the first 4 overs.
Well, that one getting the bottom edge, through for a single. Not sure if we actually noted down what Middlesex, what Kent were in the power play at the end of the power play. Reverse, but missed, frustrated, look at that from King. And obviously therefore also doesn't get the wide either.
31 for 2 Kent were at the end of the power play. They lost a
31 for 2.
wicket the first ball of the 7th over to make it 31 for 3.
I see how you've worked that out, that's very good. Good sleuthing.
Well, in fact, that wicket was the run out, so, and they got a run off it, so 30 for
30
2.
for 3, 30 for 2, yes. That's beaten the dive, and that might well beat the fielder to the boundary, will it?
Yes.
Yes, despite the despairing dive. Frustration.
It's one of the worst feelings in cricket when you're a fielder and you've made that long chase, pulled out the dive, and then just see the ball.
She's got a hand through as well. I think maybe tried to flick it back, but possibly didn't have enough on it, or maybe it's hit her, or she thought it's gone over the rope as well. So 13 to Collis, 14 to King, 30 without loss Sussex, and that one cleverly played down. She made contact with it this time. And King's got all the shots, and she batted very well against Gloucestershire.
Yeah, I watched quite a lot of that innings on the stream, and as you say, all the shots in the book, very inventive so far. Just 10 balls she's faced, and second reverse sweep attempted, as well as the scoop off her very first ball.
9 boundaries, as I say, in that innings of 68 not out against Gloucester.
And it will be the Kent captain to take matters into her own hands. Megan Belt, the off spinner. She, so far this season, has figures of 1 for 19 and 1 for 18 in the 2 blast games that Kent have played.
And once again, she's going to go round the wicket.
And I mean, Kent in desperate need of 2 or 3 quick wickets here, let alone just the one. As this one's lofted down the ground, a lovely shot from King, straight over mid-off for 4.
Yeah, judged the length really well, didn't she? She almost another half a stride, and she'd have ended up running past it, but she got it just about spot on. She probably wanted to meet it either on the full or on close to a half volley.
This one, bit fuller from belt, turned leg side for no run.
Required run rate dropping below 4 now.
This one's short, pulled away. It will pick out the fielder perfectly. But she was onto that in a flash and timed it very well, but just a single. For King. This one tossed up and hit back to her. A drop catch, I think, just above her bootlaces from belt. A single will be taken. Difficult chance, as they always are, off your own bowling.
You're a hard taskmaster to call that a drop catch, I think. Don't know.
Reached her on the full, I think. As that is a glorious sweep shot from King.
Absolutely nailed that.
She didn't have much pace to work with on the ball as it was really tossed up, but it's gone like a rocket off her bat. Straight through square leg. Nothing the fielder in the ring could do about that. That was 4 from the minute it hit King's bat.
And it hit right in the middle of that blade as well. Oh,
and once again she comes down the track, and it's going to be 2 bounces, 3 bounces, and over the rope at mid-off. Almost the same shot she hit off the first ball of the over. Didn't quite hit this one as well, but was 4 runs nonetheless.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there is anything that's going on for Talitha Stanley's birthday, I think Rachel King wants to start the celebrations as quick as possible.
Yeah. Perhaps the party's a 5:30 start.
King wants to make sure she's not late.
Although it is fashionable to turn up to parties
that's
late
true.
these days.
That's true. Yeah, well, that's interesting. We talked about the sweep, and I was in awe of that sweep shot, and it was a very good one to hit down the ground as well. It was noticeable that she didn't quite get all of it, and it kept the fielder interested until the very last minute. So she wants to get on with it, clearly, but she also wants to be a little careful, I think, possibly, because there's plenty of batting to come in this side, as we see this one driven, and that will be a single for Collis. Yeah, she wants to play a big part in this innings rather than hole out or something. I tell you that England men have taken a wicket in the Test match. India 33 for 1, lead of 39 after England had made it to 465. So 1 innings game, and that is just beyond the dive of the fielder at mid wicket, and we'll go for another boundary.
Brilliant effort. I think she did get a hand to it.
And that's brought the 50 up after 5.2 overs.
Well, the way this is going, Kent would have needed a lot more.
Yeah, well, you can see there, you can see the worm on your screen, which is heading ever upwards. And this one's guided down. I won't go for 4. And in fact, they're going to settle for a single. King to 33, and Sussex to 51 without loss. James bowling from the Cromwell Road end, looking around, checking her field is all in place. The 2 deep fielders are at long on and long off, and that's called one of them into action for a single. Collis to 16. The Sharks 52 without loss, hurtling towards their target of 96. The rather sort of notional cut-off is 5:49. We won't still be here at 5:49 at this rate. That is met on the full, and there's nobody protecting that boundary, so that'll be 4 more to Rachel King, who is continuing to impress.
Can we count this as 100, since she was 68 not out in the last game?
Well,
she's now on 105 without having been dismissed.
Well, she's certainly going to have well, I was going to say she's going to have some average in this competition, but of course technically she doesn't have an average yet, but when she first gets out she will do. Half stopped by the bowler on that occasion. That will prevent it just from being any more than a single, although there is of course protection straight down the ground.
It's just small things like that happened twice in the over where it was hit back to the bowler and she couldn't quite stop it. That's a difference between the two sides really. Sussex was sort of stopping everything until the last 1 or 2 overs where there were a couple of errors slipped in, but obviously it looks like it's going to be a comfortable win for Sussex, so there's a lot more differences than just that between the team, but that perhaps sums up the...
And do you think that the lack of protection, you know, obviously we come out of the power play now, so Kent are just sort of discussing where to put their fielders, but to have the two stationed straight down the ground, that's just purely for Rachel King and the shots that we saw earlier in the piece, I think, wasn't it? Because she's playing all around the wicket at the moment. I mean, one of her first scoring shots is a ramp over her own head, so you can't really set field to that. But it's, you know, I just wonder whether they sort of put all their eggs in one basket down the ground and then left everything else exposed.
It's risky with a leg spinner bowling, of course, with no one out square of the wicket on either side. As it will be Gier into bowl her first over, turned for a single. I mean, it's risky full stop bowling a leg spinner when you're only allowed 2 fielders out, but then to have them both out straight, as you said, it is putting all your eggs in one basket, and she couldn't quite manage to find the right deliveries for that field, and King cashed in.
Now we do have 2 guarding either side of the wicket, plus the 2 long on and long off.
So the Sharks 27 runs ahead of Kent after the power play, as well as not having lost a wicket. You know, it would take a miracle really for Kent to win here. She goes for the scoop shot, doesn't connect, but it was safely wide of the off stump.
Izzy Collis having a good old laugh with King there. I think and sort of holding her arm out as if to say, well, I thought I'd try it. You did it. Can't blame me for having a go. That, somewhere over somewhere, I've got a reflection in the window, is the sun, I think, somewhere, coming through.
Pulled and drop catch. Difficult chance, was pulled very firmly, and the field is in close there at mid-wicket. It is Coco Streets, who was diving away to her right, probably got 2 hands to it, and so would have liked to have taken the catch, but it was a difficult chance.
Got a bit of a double teapot on at mid-wicket there, Streets.
Came through for the single after all, and that's going to be the first maximum. Dropped too short and pulled all the way for 6. There was a fielder out at square leg, but this was hit well in front of square and cleared the rope. And Rachel King is just going from strength to strength in this Vitality Blast competition. And as you said, she's got all the shots in the book, and it's difficult to know where to bowl or where to set a field. That one was too short, and she took full toll. First maximum of the day. She now has 45 off just 21 deliveries. Final ball of Gier's over is again shorter, but misses out, does King, as symbolised by her waving her bat after the shot. 65 for none after 7 overs. And Sussex could meander home here in singles, but judging by the way Rachel King particularly is batting, I don't think that's likely to happen.
No, it would be rather anticlimax if Rachel King suddenly decided to play within herself. 80 overs gone at Chesterley Street. Sussex 254 for 7. They've lost a few wickets. After the John Simpson, they were 220 for 4, and then John Simpson went for 40. Finn Hudson-Prentice went for 5. Jack Carson for 2. Ollie Robinson is 8 not out. James Cole still in on 88. But Sussex well short of making hay up at Chesterley Street, having chosen to bat. They would have wanted to have got some bonus points on the board. Grant into bowl, and that from Collis is gloriously played and will earn Sussex another 4 runs.
Well, I was over by the nets about an hour or so before this game began, and every batter I saw practiced that exact shot. It's become a huge part in the men's game, and now clearly is becoming a big part of the women's game as well, and now both of the Sussex batters have utilised it well.
Attempted it again, and that will be the same result with 4 more as the ball races down towards the boundary, getting warm applause from the fans inside the First Central County ground.
That was almost on the wide line on the offside. She's taken about 3 steps across to reach it. So you can't really fault the bowler there, because they've made it about as difficult to play that shot as possible. But Collis is still taking it for 4.
So how will Kent respond? I mean, the result is almost not in question, but it's just about how do they stem this flow. Back-to-back boundaries for Izzy Collis. That's down the leg side. It's wide. It's going to be 4 wides. So 3 balls to the fence in a row, and that one will require they bowl another one. Takes the score to 78 without loss, and 18 needed for victory in 12 overs. Finds the fielder at backward point.
18 off 75 balls now needed for Sussex.
I think I could go out there and score that. Actually, I probably could.
Depends who's bowling.
I'd be against this lot. I'd be out first ball, but single to the boundary rider. Collis 26 from 25, King 45 from 22, chasing a second. Well, for her, a second successive half century. Of course, she didn't play in the Glamorgan game.
Was she injured or just not selected?
Well, Abby Norgrove came in to replace her, and that has taken an edge, and the wicketkeeper is very frustrated by that. I think she had it covered and it just deflected past her. Let's have a look on the replay. Yeah, a little deflection, and she had the line covered and it just beat her. So half century then again for Rachel King, as she acknowledges the applause around the ground, coming in 24 deliveries.
Well, all the scoreboards are saying she's on 49, and there seems to be some confusion amongst the 2 batters, but she did raise her bat since
well, okay, we'll have to check that, and that's maybe I'm not sure now. Well, we could end up celebrating it twice.
I'm just trying to
like Talitha Stanley's birthday.
See if the scores add up.
Now she's raised her bat again. I'm not entirely sure what's going on.
Well, if her being on 49 adds up the scores correctly, 49, Collis 26, and 8 extras does make 83.
Oh, okay.
So I think a bit premature from the stadium announcer there.
Presumably was done by a very quickly changing scoreboard, and assumed that she'd been on 49 before that.
Yes.
Delivery. unless it's something else like a career
No,
landmark that was passed.
I do think it was for her 50, and she did raise her bat to the audience.
Presumably
the crowd.
she hadn't looked at the scoreboard and didn't know herself. So anyway, it's your over.
And it will be Gier to Collis, who just knocks this into the leg side. Looks frustrated with herself there. It was kind of a just dead bat shot, but I mean, given the match situation, you can afford to just really treat this as a net, King Collis, with King going so well at the other end. She turns this for a single.
Now we might get a chance to celebrate King's 50 here.
Will the stadium announcer save his embarrassment and just play it off as though, you know, he was always right, or will he announce it again?
So we think 49 from 24 is the accurate.
Well, she'll take strike here to Gier and knocks it leg side. No, she won't get there just yet.
The agonising wait for a 50 that she's already celebrated.
Well, was it a few years ago in the Ashes, Elise Perry hit what she thought was a 6 to get to a double 100. Replay showed it had bounced inches short, and so she celebrated a double 100 twice, which must be a slightly more agonising wait than just for a half century.
Yes, but at the same time, celebrating a double 100 twice must be quite nice. You've got...
That is true. Wonder how much it does play on batters' minds at this sort of level. As this one will beat the keeper, and that will be Rachel King's 50 off 27 deliveries, and indeed it is announced again.
Now there's some laughter at the between the two batters.
9 4s and 1 6 in this innings means 42 of those 50 runs have come in boundaries, and it's been a destructive innings from Rachel King at the top of the order. Sussex, as we saw, were 96% favourites before this innings, and she almost instantly put that out of any doubt as Collis goes for the scoop and is almost bowled, but in the end they will come through for a bye, as the attempted shot was enough to put Emily Thompson off. Or in fact, it's been given runs, so a drop catch.
I think it was a chance. I think it must have just slid off the face of the bat as she tried the scoop.
Well, that was a poor drop, really, then, from Thompson in that case.
Helmet being brought out for the wicket keeper. Or is it a new? No, yes.
Looks like it's going to be Belt back on to bowl, I think. Wicket-keeper in short sleeves, which for some reason is always described as being Village. I'm not quite sure why, but it's always frowned upon at club cricket. Don't know if you have any opinions on it.
I'm not sure I do. Oh,
It's out.
Out stumped. Well, she doesn't want to leave Collis, but she's going to have to. There was definitely a concerted appeal. They were very convinced of it.
Well, yeah, I think it was Tilly Callaghan at point, who has the best view of the fielders, was convinced. Wicketkeeper didn't seem to react, and umpire took a long time to give it out, but we can't really tell from where we are.
Why she didn't get her bat down in time. Whether her feet were... She's looking down at the crease as if to say, my feet were in.
It does look like her foot lifts slightly at a point, though.
Well, no, not off the ground. Yeah, she's not come out of it. She's walked square and still remains behind the crease line, the popping crease line. So I think the umpire might have been slightly confused by the bat. The bat wasn't down. Oh, her foot is up. Her heel is up. Ooh, that's tight. We're seeing it really slowed down, but of course we don't have a side on camera, so it's difficult to... Her foot is up, but the bails go off there.
I think that might be a good decision, actually.
I think it might actually be a good decision on reflection.
As I say,
apologies to the umpire. That I think it is that back heel that causes the problems. Then of course she does walk away, probably to really confuse the situation further, as batters tend to do. That is going to beat the field, and that is going to be fought. First up for Nancy Harmon, the Worthing-born Nancy Harmon. 62 runs in 3 innings so far in this competition from just 49 balls. Interestingly, until Rachel King popped one over the rope, Nancy Harmon responsible for the only Sussex 6 in this competition so far, and she's been dismissed second ball. And is this the start of the comeback? 2 wickets in 3 balls, and this time no doubt about that one. Really good wicket keeping, actually. She's taken that, or was it bowled out? No, it's bowled, it's turned. I thought she stumped her at first.
No, that's spun quite considerably from outside off. It's hit middle stump in the end. Well, as you said,
2 wickets in 3 balls, but unfortunately for Kent, interspersed with a boundary, so which has made life even more tricky.
And with only 6 to win.
Yeah, but you know, Kiara Green, the captain, coming in to try and sort of see things off. Yeah, I was just about to say Nancy Harmon was responsible for the only Sussex 6 in this competition this season so far, until Rachel King had popped one over the rope earlier, but now Kiara Green on strike.
Well, with 6 to win, what a way it would be to finish it.
Absolutely. Kiara Green's got 39 runs in total in her 3 innings. 4 against Middlesex, 25 not out against Gloucestershire, and 10 against Glamorgan. And that is dispatched for 4, and that will take Sussex ever closer to victory. Just 2 required to win now.
Well, that was given a lot of air, and in the end far too much. A sort of knee-high full toss well wide of the off stump just allowed Green a free swing at it.
What we'll do is we shall now switch fully to radio mode, if you like, in our commentary, so that if and when we do get a winning run, we can use that in a clip on air. That was just behind the scenes information for you. Sussex needing just 2 to win at Hove against Kent. Kiara Green prods that one forward out into the offside. There's no run at the end of that over, the 10th over, halfway in theory in this innings. Sussex Sharks are 94 for 2, and they need just 2 runs to win.
Well, they brought the whole field in for that final delivery, looking to tempt Green, but she didn't take the bait and just sensibly defended into the offside. It looks like it will be Genevieve Gier who has the thankless task of having to bowl with just 2 runs needed.
Yes, the player, the 16-year-old playing in her first match of the season. Let's have... Normally it's an experienced player called into action for this sort of moment.
And indeed the field does remain in as she comes in to Rachel King, who steps away, looks to slog it over the top, and she's going to be caught at mid-on, and she attempted to finish with a flourish. 50 off 28 balls she goes for. Just well bowled really from Gier. Knew she would be going the big shot and just chucked it a bit wider and straight off the toe of the bat, and was caught easily at mid-on by the fielder, who was Grace Poole.
Yeah, smart catch and good bowling from Gier, did well. And applause, as you might imagine, for Rachel King for her 50 from 28. And that follows up that fantastic score against Gloucestershire, which leaves with a total of 118 in her 2 innings.
So Molly Adams comes in to look to provide the winning touch for Sussex. Gia will come into her and she drives it but can't pierce the offside field. It was a beautifully timed, perfect textbook cover drive, but picked out cover. And the wait for the winning run goes on. Gia turns as Adams taps her bat once again. And this one is pulled into the leg side. She doesn't quite time it, but it beats the infield and will run away to the boundary. Sussex Sharks will win this game against Kent by 7 wickets with 9.5 overs remaining. About as comfortable a win as you can get for the Sharks. Molly Adams hits the winning runs to finish with 4 off 2 balls. Rachel King, though, doing the majority of the damage. 50 off 28 she ended up with.
Yes, a very comprehensive win, as you say, and we'll see the scorecard there. Collis, Stump Thompson bowled belt for 28. King caught Paul bowled Gia for 50, holding out there at the very end. Harmon bowled belt for 4. She faced 2 deliveries, hit the first one for 4 and then was bowled. Kiara Green not out for, and Adams not out for, hitting the winning runs there. They'll check the other facts and figures for you. You can see there some of the damage that was done in the various overs between the 2 sides, with Sussex in the light blue and the players just shaking hands in the outfield. Sussex with a victory that improves their chances of getting into the top 2 in this group. There's the Kent bowling figures. 2 for 22 for Belt in the end. The skipper, Gia, taking 1 for 15. Gordon bowled 1 over for 3 at the beginning. And then tough little moments for the rest, Grant, Bilal and James. And the Worm sums it up really, that Sussex weren't really in any danger once Kent had been restricted to 95 in their 20 overs. So Sussex then victors at the First Central County Ground here in Hove on this Sunday afternoon. There's the Sussex partnerships. 86 for that first wicket between Collis and King, setting it all up for the victory. We expect Middlesex will beat Gloucestershire. Sussex are away at Glamorgan, I believe, next up for them on Friday at Newport. And Kent play Gloucestershire. Both of those matches starting at 2:30. So thank you very much for joining myself and Oliver, and hope you have a brilliant Sunday as we see the match summary. Sussex Sharks women winning by 7 wickets. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye for now.